Welcome to Manna at the Tap, a podcast from Tapestry Ministries that provides a reflection on the daily Bible reading from the Revised Common Lectionary. The Tapestry community calls the reading our daily manna. It is the spiritual nourishment we need to feed our souls and the sustenance required to foster our spiritual growth. I'm Gloria, a fellow traveler with you on this spiritual journey, and together we share insights and interpretations from the daily Bible reading, which will enrich our spiritual lives. It's Thursday, February the 6th, 2025, and the lectionary reading comes from the Old Testament book of Numbers. Now, you might be curious about the book's title. This book includes statistics on the population characterized by their tribal group who were counted on 3 occasions during their 40-year journey in the wilderness. The book also detailed the route and the rerouting that occurred. This was a 380-mile journey that was expected to be completed within about 5 months. However, the people felt fear when they first arrived at the border of the promised land. Moses then sent 12 community leaders to scout the promised land out, and they were gone for 40 days. Upon their return, 10 warned the people not to proceed because of the giants who inhabited the land. The other two leaders, Joshua and Caleb, were young men. They were outnumbered when they urged the community to advance and claim the new homeland. The community heeded the advice of the 10 leaders, and they spent the next 38 years wandering in the wilderness. The generation that first refused to enter the promised land had passed away. Today, the lectionary reading is from Numbers chapter 20. The new generation stands once again at the border of the promised land. This story is about the passing of the baton. The people stopped at Kadesh, which means holy place. Here, Miriam, Aaron and Moses' eldest sibling, died and was buried. She was a brave woman who assisted her parents in finding an adoptive home for her baby brother Moses right in the palace of the Pharaoh, who sought to kill all Jewish baby boys at birth. She was the one that led the people across the Red Sea and stood on the shores on the other side and introduced the women to sing and playing their tambourines and celebrating as the community transitioned from slavery to freedom. However, there are no records of the people mourning Miriam's death. But immediately following her passing, the congregation found itself without water. The people reacted by quarreling with Moses and Aaron because they were thirsty. Moses and Aaron were mourning the loss of their sister, and in their frustration with the people, they turned to the Lord for help. But they failed to follow the instructions given to them by the Lord. When the community first arrived at this location many years ago, there was also no water. Moses was instructed by God to strike a rock, and water gushed out to meet the needs of the people. But this time, In a moment of rebellion and frustration, rather than speaking to the rock as the Lord had instructed, Moses, in his anger, struck the rock twice, and the water did gush out. The people and their animals drank, but the Lord's response to Moses and Aaron was quick. It is because of your rebellion you will not be allowed to enter the promised homeland. The lectionary text focuses on verses 22 to 29 of Numbers chapter 20, where Aaron passes the baton of the priesthood to his son Eleazar. Miriam, their sister, had passed away, and now Moses would be left without his brother Aaron, who had been granted the insight and the awareness to prepare for his own death. The community observed as Moses, Aaron, and Aaron's son ascended Mount Horeb. There, Moses removed Aaron's priestly garments and placed them on Eleazar. Aaron died at the Mount Hor, and he was 120 years of age. When Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain, with Eleazar wearing his father's priestly garments, the community recognized that Aaron had died, and they mourned him for 30 days. I just have a little question for you to ponder and to consider. Birth will inevitably lead to death, but for everyone someday, we will not live forever. The question is, why is it so difficult for us to discuss death and dying?